Hello YouTube, we're going to make another metal ring. This time we're going to heat it and bend it from the wood stove heat. See it laying in there? Because it's thicker. My map torch won't heat it up. So we do have some charcoal we can throw in there too to keep it going today if we want to make more than one. So let's get to work. Still red hot, squeezed in the vise. Can you see it? It's red hot alright. Okay, we're going to let this cool down. Okay, see how I got this in the vise? This was over this way too far, so I've got it in the vise. I squeezed over and I went past it, so it'll spring back. Just endangered. Wear goggles, safety equipment. I had a vice grips clamped on here. If this thing went flying, it'd fly and hit you in the head. I'll crank on just a little bit to show you that it moves. See that? Then I'm relaxing. Just want you to be safe. That gives me plenty of room to get down there and weld, and it will be round enough. I mean, come around here, I'll be grinding some off, but these don't have to be perfect. So let's get to work and weld this thing. Well, she ain't pretty, but it'll work. Quite a difference, huh? This is 5-inch. It's like 5 3/4 or 5 7. It's not quite 6 if you measure it. It's just under 6. Now this had to clamp a little different. I don't know if I took a picture or not, but the other one I had up on my vise where it spread apart with the angle iron. I clamped here and then squeezed the vise together. This time I had to put a clamp exactly on here because this would not line up. It was a little bit bowed up at the very end. Then I had to decide when I welded it. Ooh, that's still warm. It got kind of shifted up. I had to decide, do I want to have this a little bit better around? I can always grind this. See how this goes uphill? Like it's stuck out a little more. It's kind of the weld. It's kind of both. Don't lie, it's both. You know, I'd rather grind out here to make this round than work in here. And that was like one last little crack. Kind of looked like. Because I brought this in the anvil and slammed it with the big 4-pound sledgehammer. And there's that whistle. Anyway, we'll let you hear the tail end. And it is actually noon, so it's time for me to take a break. No, I work my own hours. We'll go take our grinder. Don't hang on to stuff like this using grinders. Don't do it. Clamp the thing down, do it, flip it over and do it. And then if you're brave, I mean, do whatever you want to do, but don't do stupid stuff with grinders. I've done enough of that. And like here, then I'll use the same things as before, you know, the Dremel stones. If you never watched the other one, you should go back and watch it. I sound like some other YouTube guy, shop teacher. Go back and watch part 1 or whatever. These are them discs I stacked together. Cutter discs, this, sanding drums. Y'all know the routine. There. Okay, let's get to work. See how pretty we can make this one. Well, you can see where I hammered on it with a 4-pound sledge. Grind your spot for your ground clamp. You got a big weld. Big weld's really picky. Grind in the ends here. Make sure it's all clean metal. You see where I ground it out. And there's not much breeze outside. So there. Enough safety, know-how tips. Let's just get it cleaned up. Okay. So I got them stacked, 4 of them. I would have put 5, but it was the last one in the container. I don't feel like getting up looking on the shelf. I've got plenty of those. We took the grinder and took the bag lumps off. And then we took our 4.5-inch 120 flapper disc. And we did not do the inside. It's kind of dangerous. I do have the guard off my one with the flapper disc, and I just don't want to be sticking that down in there. Not when I could just do it sitting here at the desk with the Dremel. So at least I got all this done. I want you to get a good look at that before we try to make it round. We'll give you both sides. Like I said, trying to be perfect. I just want the look kind of round when you first look at it. Because it's warped. If you look at this thing, it's not going to lay perfectly flat. See that? Because the way the coil's print, you're never going to get, like I said, you can bang all day red hot on an anvil. You'd have to put it on a steel plate. See that? Dude, that's not the purpose of making this. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I said, I always say, let's talk more work. We'll come back after we use this and show you what it looks like. Okay, this just with the cutter disc stacked together. And wear a mask. I have a fan going, the door open, of course wear goggles. I've been doing like an X pattern. We're not going to get it perfect. If I spend all day trying to take like this little bit out to make it round, I just don't want to spend that much time. Or, you know, try to take more of this hump off right here. I thought about going out with a flapper disc and maybe kind of shave it a little more, which I probably will. But we don't want to see any cracks in the weld. You know, sometimes you see a weld on top of metal. Excuse me. Rant time. Clear my throat. There's a crack in that bracing. I remember that years ago on the lawnmower handle. See how I never forget that person? Oh, get it out of my system. Anyway, you might have a lump of weld on top metal. And it looks like a crack in the picture. That's not a crack. It's just a lump that you never ground down smooth. There. Good excuse. See? Good excuse for poor welding. No, it's pretty solid. Like I said, it's going to be a working tool. So, back to work. We're going to do some sanding with whatever. We'll use probably our grindstone, green one, and then the drum sander. So, back to work. We don't want this to be a whole long video on just doing these little things. Okay, we've been sanding this direction. We have to turn that around. See the difference? From sanding this way instead of lengthways? I'm sure you can see the difference. We're going to try to polish this. Getting carried away, I know. We're going to flip the sanding roll around because we're wearing the edge too much. We're looking for a finer grit. We're going to look around and see if we got something finer grit before we go to our abrasive wheels and our polishing drill thing over there. Okay, we're done and we polished this one. There's still going to be scratches and everything in it. If I had the right abrasives, I could take it down super smooth. But it's hard to do that stuff, going around with a drum sander and sanding roll, whatever they call it. But there you go. It's good enough to use. It's a little bit bigger than this one. You got a unique sound there, so thanks for watching. We'll leave you a couple pictures there at the end.